All right, let's talk about something that millions of us use every single day, but almost nobody really understands what it is. We're talking about Active Directory, the invisible engine running behind the scenes at work. It's time we finally figured out what it's all about.
You know that moment, right? You get to your desk, you type in your password, you hit enter, and boom, you're in. It feels completely instant. But behind that screen, there's this incredibly powerful system that just sprang into action, checking who you are and deciding what you get to see and do.
And that system? Well, that's Active Directory. It's the silent gatekeeper, the master list, pretty much the digital brain of your entire company's network. So, what is this thing really? Simply put, Active Directory, or AD for short, is a giant database with a bunch of services built on top. It's Microsoft's system for managing a whole network, and it does two absolutely critical things. It authenticates you, which is just a fancy way of saying it confirms you are who you say you are, and then it authorizes you, which means it grants you permission to access all the right stuff like files and printers. Now, to really get a handle on how AD is organized, let's stop thinking about it as some boring techie database. Instead, I want you to picture it as a digital kingdom. A whole kingdom with its own territories, cities, and neighborhoods. At the very top, the biggest level, we have what's called the forest. This is the entire kingdom, the whole shebang. It represents the entire company, and the forest is the ultimate security boundary. Think of it like a giant wall around the kingdom. Nothing gets in or out without passing the highest level of security. Okay, so within that big kingdom, you have these major territories. In the world of AD, these are called trees. A tree is basically a collection of different domains that are all linked up and trust each other. You could think of it as a huge division of the company, like, say, the North American branch. And inside those territories, you find the cities and provinces. And this is really the heart of it all. In AD terms, these are called domains. The domain is the core unit. It's a group of users and computers that all play by the same set of rules and share the same database. This is where all the daily action happens. You know, an expert named Robert R. King just nailed it with this quote. He said, "The domain's database is Active Directory, in effect." And that's the key takeaway. That database is the master ledger that knows everything about everyone and every device on that part of the network.
All right, so if domains are our cities, what about all the people and all the stuff inside them? Let's dive into how the kingdom actually gets populated and organized.
Get this, every single thing that Active Directory manages is called an object. And I mean everything. It's the citizens, the users like you and me, but it's also the computers we work on, the printers we send jobs to, the shared folders we access. Every single one is a unique object in the kingdom's giant database. Now, you can imagine with thousands, maybe millions of these objects, things could get, well, pretty chaotic, right? To prevent that mess, administrators use something called organizational units, or OUs. And the absolute best way to think about an OU is as a neighborhood in your city. You can group things together by department, so you have the sales neighborhood, the marketing neighborhood, and so on. It just makes the whole city so much easier to manage. Okay, now this next part is super important because it trips a lot of people up. What's the difference between an OU and a group? Well, OUs are for organization. It's like sorting people into neighborhoods so the local mayor can manage them. Groups, on the other hand, are for permissions. A group is like a key card that gives everyone who has it access to a specific building. So one is for structure and the other is for access. Simple as that. So we've mapped out our kingdom. We know the structure. But how is this whole place governed? I mean, who enforces the laws and makes sure all the essential services are running smoothly and securely? We'll say hello to the most important server in the domain controller. This machine is the central authority. It's the one that checks your password, enforces all the security rules, and keeps the database up to date. It's basically the kingdom's city hall, police force, and hall of records all rolled into one. And this domain controller provides a whole bunch of vital services. The main one, domain services, is like the guard at the city gates, checking your ID when you log in. Then you've got certificate services, which issues official, trusted digital ID cards for secure business. Federation services, that's the passport office. It builds trust with other companies so you can access their stuff easily. And finally, rights management is like stamping a document confidential to control exactly who can even open it. Okay, this is all fascinating, right? We've built this entire digital kingdom with forests and domains and citizens. But you might be wondering, why go through all this trouble? What's the actual real-world impact here?
Well, it really all boils down to one incredibly powerful concept: centralized control. Because everything is managed from one place, you get things like single sign on, one password to access everything you need. The company can enforce security policies for everyone, making sure we all have strong passwords. IT can push a critical software update to thousands of computers with a single click. And of course, they can tightly control who gets to see that sensitive financial report. It's all about security and efficiency on a massive scale.
So the next time you sit down and log into your computer, just take a second to remember what's happening. You're not just typing into a box. You're interacting with this huge, complex, and vital system. It truly is the invisible backbone of modern business, quietly keeping the whole digital world running. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? We've just pulled back the curtain on Active Directory, this one massive system that runs in the background. It really begs the question, what other invisible systems are out there, quietly shaping the architecture of our digital lives every single day? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.